I want to ask you a straight up question, and that is, why do you do what you do? Why do you do what you do? Take a moment and just reflect on that, please. Why do you do what you do? Your work, your business. Why do you really do it? Some of us have crafted visions. Some of us have crafted missions. Some of us have come into our businesses, our entrepreneurial journey, happenstance. Some of us have done it in a very conscientious, step-by-step way. We've all come to it in our own way, and we all have our reasons. What are your reasons? Is it greater time freedom? The sense of being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it? Is it the thrill of earning your own keep, earning your own money? Is it the thrill of being able to enjoy a lifestyle of freedom as you wish to carve it, based on your own hard work and based on your own ingenuity and smarts and creation? Why do you do? What do I do? Why do any of us do what we do when we want to do it? I'd like to pose a concept for you to play with. This comes from psychology. It also comes from Eastern wisdoms and the path of the warrior sages. And the idea here is that why you do what you do is because you're wearing an identity. Some identity. And the identity is simply a viewpoint with a goal. A viewpoint with a goal. So right now, I'm in the viewpoint of a guide. My goal is to serve you. When I'm with my children, I'm in the viewpoint of father. And my goal is to, is to give my children a good life, good education, good beginning to life. When I'm with my wife, I'm in the identity of husband. And so, what's the ultimate goal of that identity? It's to enjoy a great life with my beloved. Okay, it's to serve her and be a good husband to her. So that's my goal. So we're always entering and exiting many identities throughout the day. Just think about it. You wake up in the morning, what is the first identity that you're in? What's the viewpoint you're in? Oh, I got to go to work, or I got to start my business, I got to have my coffee, I got to have my newspaper. You're in some identity in some moment. And that identity has a goal. So when I'm running my business, when I'm running my organizations, I'm in the identity of an entrepreneur, a businessman. My goal for me is I wish to create businesses and organizations that bring enlightenment, higher consciousness, joy, and freedom to many people. That's the goal for me. So the challenge here is that many of our identities that have been running us day by day, hour by hour, moment by moment, are ones we haven't chosen conscientiously. They've formed through traumas, through fears. Perhaps when we were younger, we experienced some type of challenge around money. Our family could have had tight circumstances, financial challenges, or perhaps they grew up in that atmosphere, and so an imprint was made upon you in which you took upon the identity of someone who needs to now do really well because you never want to go through that again. You never want to be poor. So you're in the identity of someone who never wants to be poor. What's the ultimate goal? Is to make money so you're never going to be poor enough. But the challenge with these identities that have formed unconsciously, especially in reactive times, in times where you experience some form of defeat, something happened in your business and you said, I'll never be like that again. I'll never trust those type of individuals again. You formed an identity in the midst of a challenging situation by default. And that identity has a purpose. And in that purpose could be to be safe. So now unconsciously, the identities that you have formed, some of them are trying to keep you safe. And when you're too safe, unconsciously, you repel greater opportunities. You repel flow because you are negotiating with reality to keep you safe. And the challenge is most of the times we aren't even aware of this. You might have an identity that was formed when you were young to prove, and I know this is very true for me, to my father and to my lineage of business people, that I too am a business person and I'll do just as well, if not better than you. The identity was of a perfectionist and one who had something to prove to another. And so I didn't know it. I thought it was just pure ambition, pure energy, pure drive. But in a moment of deep meditation, deep self-inquiry, it came to me, my trip was up, that I was living out of this identity, someone who wanted to prove value and worth to my parents. So imagine being driven not truly by your own self, but by some identity that's a reaction to some feeling of insecurity and need to gain in self-worth. So my challenge and my invitation to you, my friend, is to look with honesty, with true, burning, crystal clear, vulnerable self-honesty. And ask yourself, why am I really doing what I'm doing? And what identity am I in when I'm doing that? One who's trying to fulfill what goal? And the secret I've discovered is to bliss, in fact, and inner freedom is to go into that identity as if it's fulfilled. So for me, how I did it with this unconscious impulse that I realized and made conscious, this desire to please my father figure, especially to prove him right, inside my consciousness, in my being, I fulfill that goal. So I'm going to invite you to fulfill the goal inside your own psyche of what you really are wanting to fulfill, the ultimate goal, the psychological, spiritual goal. Because when you fulfill that right now in consciousness, you'll be in another new identity. It'll be a deeper one. It'll be one not fret and moved around and pushed around by your inner impulses to prove to anyone or anything. It'll come from your creativity, not your reactivity. It'll come from your power, not your defense against your own power. And then there's another venture, the ultimate adventure and venture within. And that's feeling for you before any identity. And then living from there.